Good afternoon. My name is Joseph Lloyd and I source cars for people on a professional basis. Although most of the cars I source are between £1,000 and £5,000, very often I've been asked to show something a little bit cheaper on the channel, and so I came up with No Budget Reviews, the series where we look at cars that you can buy in good condition with an MOT for under £1,000 and you can enjoy driving. We don't film this in an expensive manner, we don't use separate microphones, we don't use fluid head tripods, we don't even use a DSLR, but we do have a lot of fun.
Hello you lot, Miller Corner here. Oh, terribly sorry, that's the wrong channel, viewers. Yes, welcome to No Budget Reviews, inspired by Mr. Miller from the Miller Corner channel. And look what we have here, a 2001 Fiat Seicento 1.1 SX, which Mr. Miller, I believe, rates this car very highly. He's had several of them, his brother's got one, and thanks to a very, very kind channel viewer who's called Matt, I'm able to have a go in this myself. I'm afraid it's a really, really horrible rainy day here in southeast London. I did manage to come to quite a nice place to actually film it, so that's quite good. The wind and the rain are quite bad. They are, but my spirits aren't dampened because I've been able to have a go in this amazing little car. First of all, let's just have a look at the boot. Now this opens with the key. It's like a Mark III Fiesta or something like that in that respect, or very early Metro. Look at that. I think it's less than 200 litres of space, but the space is really, really good shape. These are the spare wheel trims for the car. It's actually got Fiat Panda wheel trims on it, this car, which look a lot better than these aftermarket ones, I must say, and lots of microfiber cloths for cleaning and other things. It's really interesting, this kind of mechanism here on the boot. The handles for closing it are just little cutouts in the metal. Isn't that amazing? Built in Poland, of course, like all Seicentos. There we go. He's even put a nice wiper blade on me. So this is the SX model, which was sort of second up in the range from the S. The S's are quite rare because they don't really have anything, nothing at all, not even electric windows. I think this car's got power steering. It does have electric windows, but it doesn't have an awful lot else because you don't really need that. There is a sunroof. If you went for the Soleil type, I think that was the other one was sporting, then you could have a sort of little electric folding fabric roof, although this one here is probably a little bit better if you want a little bit of light to come in, which is better for filming and things like that, although yes, make sure your sunroof on a Seicento doesn't leak. Only one 3-door body style, that's the only one it ever came with. This is the facelift, just came in about October 2000, and actually it's an ultra-low emission zone compliant car, which is completely, utterly mad to me, but the ones which came after the facelift actually are. We're just on the boundary of the emission zone here. There goes the train into Victoria. And I think this car looks very neat. It just looks so unfussy in comparison with so many modern cars. Even in comparison with the later 500s in 2007, this is just a very unfussy looking car. 500 is a very nice looking car. I have done a review of one of those, but it's just such a simple design. If we get in, we'll kind of see that the theme continues on the inside. There's just really not much to this car at all. There's not even a rev counter. You didn't get one on this trim. I think on the Sporting you did, but you don't get one in this. And there's no glove box. I mean, do you want to see if my secret mission documents fit in the glove box? Then there you go. Fit on the shelf down here as well, I should think. There we go. Matt's not got the stereo in the car at the moment. He's just putting a new one in. but here we go. Painted metal, like on a Mark 1 Metro. Very, very, very easy to operate all the controls. But this is it. This is all you get. No air conditioning on this car. It was an option. I think so was ABS. But this car doesn't have either of those. These stalks look like they're off a Mark 1 Punto or something. I don't actually know. Answer the comment section below. One airbag, just as well, really, because when I went out, Matt just said, just don't crash it. And I was like, okay, I won't. Speaker covers look very strange, but apparently you can fit just normal speakers in there if you want to change them, because I don't think there are any other speakers in this car apart from the ones in the dash. There's the manual sunroof. Sometimes they leak, and sometimes it's just a question of relieving the pressure a little bit using this wheel, but I'm not touching that today. Goodness me, I'm not touching that. No way. Steering wheel is just plastic. It's not even leather in here, but it doesn't matter. Gearbox, it's just down there. You could get a Citymatic gearbox, which is an auto, but most people just go for the manuals, to be honest, I think. Right. I think I'm going to have to get in the back, viewers, because that's what we do on No Budget Reviews and little three-door cars. This is not going to go well. Right, viewers, here we go. Gosh. Whoa. Oh. Dear me, I'm like Roger Moore in A View to a Kill. Oh, there are the electric window switches. Not much in the back of here. You can get some headrests, not that you need unless you're people sitting in here. The space is actually okay for my head. Can I get the... No. Oh, my trousers match the interior. That wasn't a deliberate stylistic choice, by the way, viewers. There's the handbrake pulled all the way up so that I don't move anywhere, because they're a bit funny on these cars. And there's the tiny, tiny pedal box. Let's the ashtray there. Seats just... Wow, it's actually a 5-seater. Wow, there's a lap belt in here. Crazy. One thing I have noticed, these seat belts, there's no height adjustment for them, so I found reaching behind me quite awkward, personally, but there we go. Got multiple grab handles in here. I think you'll need that if you are in the Super Seicento that Mr. Miller has. Right, I think the only thing left to do, really, because there's not really much in here apart from all the painted metal, is to have a look at the engine. So here is the 1.1 fire engine. I think this is actually when the cam belt's been done. These do have a cam belt, so just make sure that that's been done regularly. This multi-point fuel injection version of the engine, which came with a facelift in October 2000, tends to be a bit more reliable than the single-point injection, which was on the earlier sporting models. Fire engines had a reputation up until the early 2000s of head gasket failure, which, you know, yeah, the Mark 1 Puntos particularly were bad for that, but these engines are much better. And things like the second generation Panda, 2007 onwards 500, and the Grande Punto, all those cars you've seen on the channel before, and they all have fire engines and they seem pretty good. There's not actually that much to go wrong in here, as long as you just keep it serviced, really. The electrics are a bit better and they're quite simple on this car than you might expect. Yes, as long as you just keep on top of the maintenance and change the cam belt, you know, just look after the car in general. You know, some problem areas are the sort of sills at the side down there. This one's actually pretty good, and then the rear wheel arches and the actual inside of them. You need to check that when you're buying one, but that's mainly it, really. There is a video on the Miller Corner channel that I'll link to in the description below, which goes into this in more depth, but we're only here for sort of a quick thing. Right, I think it's time to go for a drive.
Here we are, viewers, driving through the mean streets of South London in the Seicento. There were just 2 engines available for this little car. A 900cc OHV engine which dated back to prehistoric times. I think it was actually introduced in a Fiat 600 in about 1955 or something insane. That developed 39 horsepower and actually was dropped for the facelift that came in 2000. Then every other Seicento, all the sporting models and all the others produced after October 2000 had this 1.1 litre engine. It's a fire unit, it's the same one as in, I don't know, like every single Fiat model that was made for a really long time. 1.1 litres and 54 horsepower. There's actually a slight difference between the 1.1 that was in the original Sporting, single point injection, and this 1.1 which went into all the post facelift cars, and that is, this has a manifold cat and a different exhaust manifold entirely with different branches on it. In the world though of 20 mph speed limits and speed bumps and optional emission zones and all kinds of other horrific things for drivers, what's this actually like, this little car? Well, the gear change is quite spongy. It's not the most positive I've ever used. It's okay. I think this car does date from 2001, so you can't expect the sort of latest crisp shift quality of some more modern ones, but it does feel a little bit vague and spongy. Performance is actually okay. It's not too bad. The wiper blades, you can probably hear them. They're actually okay. They're relatively new ones. It's just, I don't know, it's just the way that they are. So yes, we are actually driving in the ultra low emission zone, viewers, and this car's compliant. Yes, the pre-facelift cars are not compliant, neither the 900cc or the 1.1 at all. So if you want a car to drive in the ultra low emission zone, which is where we are, then yeah, this is the one that you want. 0 to 60 in this car, I think it's something like 14 seconds. Yeah, I'm not actually sure it's anything more than that. Just turn that fan down slightly. The handbrake is really strange. I've heard the handbrakes are really bad, and yeah, unless you put it all the way up, it's not good, viewers. It's not good at all. Pedals are absolutely tiny as well. The pedal box is really cramped. Kind of the accelerator's where the brake really should be. So if you've got size 12 feet, it's not going to be the car for you, I'm afraid. Not really. But driving through the traffic here, we've just hit on the South Circular. It's wow, it's really good. I've got to kind of sort of just stop laughing, because I really shouldn't do, but yeah, it's a lot of fun, this. Oh my gosh. Wow, I can see what Mr. Miller's been on about for years. I mean, despite this spongy gearbox and tiny little cramped pedal box and all this sort of stuff, it's a really good car for this particular purpose. it's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Ride's a little bit on the firm side, but that's okay, it's no problem. Just gonna switch lanes using these absolutely tiny mirrors and nip in like that. There we go, 25 miles an hour and a lot of fun. Steering is, it's quite light, it's much lighter than I was expecting. And yeah, if you're just driving around in London, I can see why Matt has this car. I completely understand. I feel like an absolute giant driving this, but I kind of get it. Driving this is not that comfortable. It's far too kind of high and upright for somebody like me, but you know, it's okay. Let's switch the camera around, shall we? There we are, viewers, on the South Circular. One side takes you into the ultra low emission zone. Isn't that great? Not really. Yeah, better watch our speed through here, but it doesn't really matter, and I could probably drop it in fourth and still pull. Yeah, it's okay. It's not the most torquey engine. Mount's in the way, of course, because it always is. It's just the way it goes on this channel. I might nip down past Dulwich College. But yeah, I'm quite enjoying driving this. It's quite surprising. I really wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as this. I can see why Mr. Miller has such a big grin on his face all the time, because this is great. I'm just a little bit concerned about this handbrake. I think I'm going to do is a little bit later on, I am going to actually just put this in gear when I park it, because I just don't want it rolling away. That would be bad, viewers, very bad. Right, I'm not going to do, yeah, the handbrake, you have to be really sure you've actually clicked it off as well. It's quite finicky. Why, if we're only one person and we're driving around a city like London, do we need a car that's bigger than this? I mean, sure, there's ergonomics that can be sorted out. Whatever. Look at that, ultra low emission zone to the right. Oh dear. So we'll nip down to the left here. Gosh, you really just don't want to be in everybody's way in whatever car you're driving around here. You just want to avoid being a problem, and you know, with something like this, then you can. No rev counter, no separate indicator lights, just one for left or right, like on a very old Mini or something. But just loads and loads and loads of fun. It's brilliant. So see how it cuts to the bump. Oh, it's not too bad actually. Massive Tesla there. I'm in my tiny little Seicento, and I feel really like I am a responsible citizen. This car is very, very old, so you know, I don't have to buy a new one. It's really compact, it's very economical. I think it does something like 47 miles per gallon on the old only DC cycle, although your mileage will vary. But it's just an absolute pleasure. I'm really enjoying myself. Just say thank you to Mr. Miller for the inspiration, because this is one of the reasons why Matt got this car, was watching the Miller Corner channel. And you know, I'm having a fantastic time too. I'm very glad to have been invited to come and have a go. Right, viewers, I'm afraid I'm going to have to go back and hand Matt his keys, which is a bit of a shame, because it's one more roundabout. Whoa! Oh, viewers, fantastic. Yeah, that's going to have to be the end of it, I'm afraid. Let's have a look at some trim levels for the Seicento. The two-tone, the active sport, the Citymatic, the Mia, is that a clothing company? I'm not sure. The Michael Schumacher Sporting. Those tend to be a bit overpriced from what I've understood. The SX and Sporting, with the standard trim levels, and then the Sound and the Sweet. The Abarth body kit is sort of popular thing to get. I think you can fit that to quite a lot of them actually. You can take the body kit off and make your Sporting, which is normally what they're on, look a little bit different. That tends to add a little bit of value to the car. From what I understand, these cars are still really cheap. We're well within no budget reviews territory, looking at a Cinquecento, sorry, a Seicento. I keep calling it Cinquecento. I'm very sorry. The Cinquecento was on this exact platform actually, and shared that 900cc engine. So yes, with a car that weighs 730 kilograms, is this something that you should consider with your hard-earned budget up to £1,000, particularly maybe if you're wanting to be within the ultra emission zone? Well, I don't see why not. These cars are very simple. They're not the most comfortable on long journeys, I don't think. They're not the most luxurious, and we don't even have a rev counter in here, but they are just terribly charming in a way that older Italian cars are, and I can see why Mr. Miller really likes this. So thank you for watching this episode of No Budget Reviews. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and as Mr. Miller always says, have a good one.